Everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back with another live stream of Hearthstone, starting a little early today at 2:30 instead of the typical starting late at 4 or 5 in the evening. Not really a lot of reason for that, other than I just have finished Rise of the Tomb Raider and didn't really want to get into the next game. Trying to sort of take a break after playing a lot of Rise of the Tomb Raider, and then it's very strange. At the end of playing the single player experience, I started looking at the horrible add-on things that are just there to get you into multiplayer and microtransactions. There's an endurance mode where you have to have food and warmth. It's like everybody let's starve, or everybody starves. What's the name of that game that's really popular nowadays? It's not even that popular. And then there's like a zombie horde mode, and so I was showing off the zombie horde mode and what all the cards that we've been getting throughout the single player actually did. And right in the middle of the zombie horde mode, it just crashed. And at that point, I had spent 27 hours, I think, of playing the single player game for a game that really shouldn't have been 15 hours. The story is really, really bad. It is directly copy and pasted from the previous Tomb Raider game, the reboot game. I imagine what the case was is Square Enix literally probably told Eidos Montreal and Crystal Dynamics, I'm not even sure which was really in charge of this, of Rise of the Tomb Raider, to not focus on the single player much at all and do all of the add-on stuff that I didn't even want to play. Didn't feel like Tomb Raider. It wasn't interesting at all. Score attack modes, replaying chapters in the story, none of that sounded appealing, because playing the main story part of the game wasn't appealing. I got to like 98% of the collectibles, and at that point I was just like, forget it. It's not worth the effort to find the 3 more things that I would have needed to find. Let's see, let's get into gameplay. Need some warrior, shaman cards, and druid and hunters. I only have to get 2 of these done, but we do need to do the tavern brawl. So let's see what the tavern brawl is. Great Father Kobold has got a little carried away with the presents. He's wrapped up the strongest creatures, and here's Nazareth's freedom. Okay. Let's just I think shaman cards was one of them, so let's take that. I guess that's probably not the best way to do this, but we'll do it. Well, being uncertain of what we're doing, I'm just going to take the cheapest shaman cards and play. This glitch is still here, man. Hearthstone and Activision Blizzard need to get their stuff together. This is ridiculous. The glitches have gotten completely unacceptable recently in Hearthstone. It seems like they don't even care anymore. First couple years of playing this game didn't really experience any glitches. Now it's glitchy daily quests, glitchy visual displays. There might have been a few glitches around, but not some that are so extremely noticeable. Yeah. I probably could go further into Rise of the Tomb Raider and just how bad it is. It's really, really bad. It's surprising so many people rate it highly. If it wasn't from the beginning a decision to... If they didn't decide from the beginning to just copy and paste the previous game, which I really did enjoy, with a few things, few problems certainly, then maybe, because I know Rise of the Tomb Raider was late in its release, perhaps is more instance of of them failing at some point. Let's see. Add a random legendary to your opponent's hand. It costs 3 less. So destroying these presents makes sense. I did a Kobolds and Catacombs run and now have 2 victories of the 9 classes. So actually I didn't do just 1 run. I probably did 2 or 3. And ran into a... one boss is just a bonus round where you have 6 0 attack 8 treasure chests, and the game ends on the 5th turn because there's a 5 mana hero ability that I probably shouldn't do anything right now. There's a 5 mana hero ability that just ends the game. So you have to make a mad dash to destroy each of these 0-8 things to give you a special card that you keep in your Kobolds and Catacombs run for the rest of it. And I got 6 out of 7, so I did very well, and that eventually helped solve the eventually helped me win the entire run. Of course, why did I do that? That was really stupid. That was really, really dumb. So on second thought, maybe I should have streamed for a lot longer during the expansion and tried to record a special battle with each character, because I didn't realize that there was kind of a larger variety of bosses. The problem is there's only 2 or 3 bosses in the first slot, but by the time you get to the 7th or 8th slots, you are dealing with a considerable amount of extra bosses. Let's just kill this and see what this does. There we go. We've got somebody on the chat. Tragic Master, 3 packs for this brawl. Nice. Got a legendary in my tavern brawl. Woot. Yeah, I think we just saw Tragic Master open up that legendary. I recently got a legendary too. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually have increased the odds of getting legendaries for Christmas. That would be kind of cool. Of course, if they are doing that, they certainly aren't telling people. Wow, 2 legendaries in my tavern packs. Lol. So we'll see what happens when I get this tavern brawl. If I can get 1 or 2 legendaries on each of my accounts, that's a massive improvement. My main account, I'd probably keep the legendary. The others, there's a decent chance I would use them up as dust for their dust value. So we're kind of, though, right now with the tavern, with the soul adventure, the Kobolds and Catacombs, like, the problem as I see it right now is there's just no real news to talk about. So if I were to say in the post show after this, which I might do this, but I probably shouldn't. I need to move on. I need to play the next game. I'm not instantaneously back to where I would want to be. Here we go. We'll just transform all of these. And then deal 2 damage to 2 random enemies. And then deal 1 damage to that. Then do that. And end the turn, I suppose. See, Tragic Master says he got Lich King and Garrosh DK out of 3 packs. Nice. It'll be kind of sad if I open 3 packs, don't get any, but who knows? It could just be random chance. I suppose you're at a significant advantage if you get a legendary and then immediately get another legendary. Because then your 50 counter pity timer starts over again. Well, might as well just play cards. At the very least, I'll get a quest done here. There's not a ton of news to talk about. I don't think I should actually look at it. No, there actually is a decent amount of news as I lose here. And we may see some more. I misspoke last time and said I thought that the Game of the Year stuff for Giant Bomb was going to happen Monday. Apparently it's not going to happen until maybe next week. Maybe it's just, Christmas and further. I don't have the real dates. So I thought I was going to spend a lot more time listening to that. I'm thinking I probably will mention at the Game of the Year, at the end of the year wrap-up video that I plan on doing, just my evolving relationship with news sources such as Giant Bomb and Jim Sterling, and some new relationships that I've tried to adapt as reactions to that, such as watching Gamer Grumps, and now I've subscribed to Markiplier, although I have yet to see any of his videos, watching PewDiePie on rare occasions. I'm trying to expand out more. Tragic Master says I used Priest, buffed my presence to kill his, and purified my presence so he didn't get any gifts. Interesting. Yeah. Well, I'll start playing some strategy once I have done everything I want to do as far as playing all the shaming cards. I'm getting that feeling that I started too early again. I often get that feeling. Particularly live streaming takes more focus because I'm trying to do too many things at the same time versus just pre-recorded footage. I certainly can get away with a lot more of sitting in silence and not saying too much for a couple of minutes when I'm pre-recording, whereas I feel like I'm more required to be on the ball with streaming. And I keep breaking up and then starting again, running out of oxygen halfway through a sentence, which that's silly. Take a deep breath. Try to finish an entire sentence. All the Leisure Suit Larry games apparently are now on Steam. I wanted to bring Steam up and actually see that. And there's been some other surprising addition to Steam that was very much not expected. And that is Maniac Mansion, the original Maniac Mansion. Assumedly, it is running through the ScumVM emulator. I guess I'll just hit this and hope. Is available for sale. And what's strange about that, and kind of amazing, is that Maniac Mansion is owned by Lucasfilms, which is now owned by Disney, and Disney had kind of stepped out of making video games because they shut down their video game division and they were just going to license it. The fact that they've put out all of their, well, not all of, but even one of their games, and Maniac Mansion is, I suppose, slightly a unique choice in the list of options because it's a niche game, but it is also very popular. Amongst that niche. So with Maniac Mansion coming out, there is a potential that some of the LucasArts games might come to Steam too. Not that I think there are too many Lucasfilms games that that weren't at some point, if not right now, available already. So, Leisure Suit Larry, Suit of the Lounge Lizards. The thing here is Leisure Suit Larry is not definitely it's definitely not a Lucasfilms or Disney game, and it clearly is totally the wrong thing for something like that, but it is also that same kind of niche. Let's see if I can't read it. It's like from this new company that I've never heard of, Airsnip Amnesia. I can't read the text, and I'm looking on Steam, and you can't make the text any bigger on Steam. There are some problems, I think, with having a 12-inch TV as a second monitor. And there's a whole bundle here. For $21.35, you can get Leisure Suit Loud Larry Part 1 through 7 and Magna Cum Laude, which Game Grumps has been cutting playing that game. The Magna Cum Laude game, and it's pretty terrible, but it's also kind of funny. Like, because these games are so old, the pixely animation would be probably rather easy to censor if there is anything that really needs to be censored. But with the adpocalypse and everything, I'd love to have these games, but this is another one of those games that I would say I just want it as a historical, perfect, complete collection of some really old and well-known games. For a lot of kids in a certain generation, this was the first naughty game they would have played when they shouldn't have, and it really wasn't too offensive anyways. poor kids that have the internet these days they have everything available to them. Tragic Master goes, Larry's on Steam, lol, hilarious. I remember talking all hush hush about that game when I was a kid. That's exactly the case. Maybe somebody would give you a copy of the floppy disks or something. Smuggle it from one household to another. But putting it on Steam doesn't really do too much as far as Steam's general stance, however, of sex games, sex comedy games. This Leisure Suit Larry is more sex comedy games. The title's always funny. Leisure Suit Larry's looking for love in several wrong places. Let's see if I can get all the names. Leisure Suit 1 is called In the Land of the Lounge Lizards. A lot of the jokes of Leisure Suit Larry probably wouldn't even make a ton of sense these days, because the references to like 80 swingers style. 3 is passionate pate in pursuit of a pulsating pectorals. And these came out really quickly. You know what's not here though is this bundle does not seem to include Leisure Suit Larry 4. And I am not sure why that bundle would exclude 4. It says part 1 to 7, and then unless Magna Cum Laude is supposed to be 4, which that is not even the same character, that's like the nephew. Of the original Leisure Suit Larry. Now 4 is just missing. Interesting. Either that, or it's made by a different company, or it was a Let's see, and 7 is Love for Sale, S-A-I-L-E. So maybe you should wait a little bit until 4 comes out, or maybe I could do a little bit of an internet search and figure out why Leisure Suit Larry 4 would be not included. But 7 is still the flat 2D animation, not the 3D animation in Magna Cum Laude. And it's kind of surprising that this didn't continue to do it. The gag of the Larry series is, of course, he doesn't actually succeed, or you have to play hours and hours of the game to succeed, to sleep with one character. It is the like epitome of a fool's errand, and you'll probably have gone through a very ridiculous, silly experience. Let's see. Leisure Suit Larry 4, The Missing Floppies, is an unfinished and unreleased game in the Leisure Suit Larry series. It's largely an in-joke in the series, but developed its own meta-history through the series. If the joke was truly followed on this wiki, the article would be missing as well. And then it goes on to say that the game itself is made by the characters. So there was probably a break between Leisure Suit Larry 3 and Leisure Suit Larry 5, and they decided just to skip it. Interesting. And how many people would really get that joke without being nowadays? Interesting. If not now, probably recently, I imagine you could play the Leisure Suit Larry games with Scum VM. That would be heavily my guess as far as maybe why they even came to Steam. But it's still worth pointing out that you're not... It was less than a month ago that 2 other sex games were not allowed. So if nearly 30 years later, let's see, when was the release date of this? Well, they're saying it's 2017 for... That's wrong. 2017 for the new version. It's probably been about 30 years. Like, if Valve is 30 years behind with what kind of adult games they allow, there's very little hope in the short term that Valve is going to allow the modern games that are being made. Which is fine. I mean, they should just make their own side company and keep it all separate. Like, have a adults only section of Valve. And I'd feel kind of sad if somebody bought this game not knowing how old it is too. Like, it doesn't look great. It has the old CGA style graphics, which CGA I think barely had 16 colors. None of this is like the Day of the Tentacle remastered or anything that Double Fine did. But it is a big step forward for just historical accuracy. Says maybe there are some remastered graphics here, but if there are, I don't see anything. And even if it is remastered graphics, it's... Oh, there are some remake graphics here. Interesting. So this might not actually just be the original game, but the remake graphics are only in one picture, and honestly, it doesn't look that different. The remake graphics are still kind of bad looking. Well, we got 31 out of 50 Shaman cards played in that, and we got our 3 packs. Let's see if we are as lucky as Tragic Master. We'll spin around here and see if this works. See if they've increased the drop rate. These are Knights of the Frozen Throne cards. That might explain a higher drop rate alone. Golden Epic is nothing to scoff at, certainly. Knights of the Frozen Throne were the previous expansion, so like, it seems like the drop rate is higher. Like, we're getting more Goldens and more Epics than you would expect. But I'm not getting so lucky as to have a Legendary. Nope, no Legendary. Alright, so to start off with, we can disenchant this many and have 160 dust. And then we can just type in new to see the new cards. And disenchant this golden for dust. It gets me up to 260. Disenchant this for 50 dust. That gets me another 50. Disenchant this for 400 dust. and keep that one. So if we go to the Frozen Throne expansion, go into crafting, and type in missing, I think this will probably show that I'm not missing that many cards. And there's a legendary here. This is the one I just decrafted for dust. So yeah, there's an epic and a legendary, some other things I could craft. Of course, eventually Frozen Throne, like all the expansions, will go into the banned list. So crafting these things with dust is not the highest priority in the world unless there's a specific card. But there's no common cards in this collection, which certainly would explain why there would have been an increased rate of legendaries that Tragic Master got. He still was very lucky, because you can see there's just a ton of these still happening. Let's go ahead and craft a second one of this. And as far as basic cards, you won't be missing any. Or I won't. And then if I just look at all standard cards, I'm missing a ton. But if I type in missing and then pirate cards, I have one legendary I wanted to craft, and then I thought you got Patches the Pirate when you did that. And I can't even afford this, so that kind of sucks too. Pirates are the next thing on the list, I suppose, on the very long list of cards to get. Let's look at what Tragic Master's been saying. Tragic Master goes 3 packs, woot, ding, dang, gold epic is nice dust though. Nice dust count for a free tavern prize. I would almost argue that the Tavern Brawl prize is less than free, because a lot of times the requirements to win is slightly difficult, and they give you a good workout. I suppose I need to get Paladin and Warrior cards, but I also need to play Shaman cards. So let's see if I can find this Death Attack card. Let's see. I want to go... I want to play the Bridge Constructor Portal at some point. The portal aspect of adding Bridge Constructor has added something new to that series of games, so... that style of game, so I want to play that. But I want to see the new and trending, just to see what's being... Yeah, Maniac Mansion is new and trending. Apparently Fire Pro Wrestling. World is new and trending. LA Noir, the VR case files. Apparently this one called Omega Quantet. Interesting. I don't look at the new and trending games that much, and I suppose there could easily be large lists of games that come on Steam that I don't follow because I don't get news coverage from Steam directly. There certainly are people that do go through all of the new releases. Let's see, but I'm just not one of them. And even the people that like Total Biscuit used to on this podcast go through the new releases, but they were filtering so many of them out in the first place that they eventually got to such an extreme filtering that they're barely mentioning any games at all every time they have a podcast, which is about weekly. I suppose I'll mention that I went through the process of trying to set up a group and a curator, become a curator on Steam. One of the things that is required for it to show up is that you have to review 10 games the group in general does. So depending on whether I was going to have this be what my fans recommend or what I personally recommend, would drastically change the amount of work there. Being a curator is something that I kind of just wanted to sit on and have the URLs and the shortened link more than something I actually want to do immediately. And I did immediately screw up and mistype the name, so I misspelled the word recommended. So the group was called Rydo's Recommended Games, and I misspelled recommended. Slight excuse for that. I was very far away and using a mouse and an on-screen keyboard, and I just clicked the mouse twice, but there's apparently no way to change it, so for all time that will be that, unless I want to abandon that group and start another one, which I was kind of just playing with this whole system. I wasn't really ready to commit, and I'm still not really ready to commit to the idea of doing a curated group and putting all of my reviews in some kind of typed form so that I could put the reviews on Steam, so that I could link it to a YouTube video. It probably would help, but it is also something where I would have to almost certainly pay somebody, have an employee, work with it within that system and type up some kind of thing to put text-wise to link to the videos. And I'm sure Valve is not quite set up yet where they want YouTubers to put their entire YouTube collection and video reviews of games into their Valve's system. What's funny is this company that released Leisure Suit Larry only has another game called Pizza Connection, which is apparently Pizza Connection 3 is coming out March 14th, 2018. So maybe this is some kind of weird advertisement. But they don't really have anything else. It seems like they published a game called Civil. I don't think I'm really accomplishing too much here. So yeah, I have no idea. Maybe they bought the rights to Leisure Suit Larry, or maybe that is the same company and they just haven't done anything. Let's see. Tragic Master says, nice dust count for a free tavern prize. I think you already read that one. Yeah. 2 damage to everybody. Play death rattles to destroy random minions. Alright, moving on with the news. Yeah, I don't think I did anything else. I made a curated group that I don't think anybody can find or follow. I don't think even I can find or follow it until I put 10 reviews on there. There's a small amount of curators on Steam. And I'm not sure it's really worth much more than that. I keep opening my Twitter feed looking for new news and seeing it. So I'm opening more tabs than closing. There is a slightly interesting thing about Maniac Mansion. Being released on Steam, because you could have already played Maniac Mansion in the remaster of Day of the Tentacle. So you kind of, I guess I kind of already own the game, and the actual files, I believe, are just the same. So you could just copy the files over from the installation folder and for Maniac Mansion and not even have to launch the Day of the Tentacle remaster. But now I guess you can buy it twice. Let's see. So now this has 2 death rattles. It should actually. Interesting. So if I could just kill Fugin, I could get several Thaddeus's here. Let's move on with the news, though. What is this game? This looks a lot like a previous game that they had called, was it called Scrolls or Magica? I think it was called Magica. There's a game called 9 Parchments. It looks a lot like Magica. It has mixed reviews right now. It's a multiplayer magic style game. One more death rattle to upgrade. Do that. Now I can destroy up to 3 minions. And end the turn. The problem with any kind of 4-player co-op game, whether this one is like Magica. Magica had a weird combo system, if that is the name of the game. I might be saying the wrong thing, where you had to line up fire and ice and earth and air attacks in different ways, and wow, this game looks like an exact ripoff of that. Let me go over to the negative reviews. A dumbed down version of Magica 2, fixed spells with cooldowns and no charge up mechanics, no shields, mines, melees, or effects like Magica 2. Visually pleasing environments but no meaningful interactions in them. It was Fugin. I need to. Actually, I should have played this first, in the chance that I got a 1-1 version of him. Let's kill this. And let's kill this. Yeah, I don't think my strategy worked that well. So yeah, I could see a lot of reasons why this game is not getting reviewed well if it's just a dumbed down version. So 9 parchments, probably a pass. Moving on. Code Vein has a new trailer, and since I don't know what Code Vein is really about, I'll watch that and I'll look at this. Tavern Brawl on my second account says Tragic Master Shaman turn 1 evolve, other player concedes. Lol, good game. Very similar to what happened for me. as soon as that option was gone, they didn't seem like they wanted it. See, summon a 1/1 copy of somebody in your on the field. Let's go ahead and do this and this and this and hit that and hit that, and then the turn. See, these vampires have like masks on their face, like gas masks. I don't know if they are gas masks or if they are some kind of blood feeding apparatus to continue their power. Half of this trailer is just an animated cutscene and not something that's actually going to be gameplay, or very potentially not even in the game. But yes, Code Vein still looks very much like a Dark Souls with vampires. Apparently there are guns in this game. I'm not sure how much they're going to be really used, though. And when it actually shows me gameplay, there's some things you can kind of derive from it as far as how complicated the system is going to be with it. Seems like there's gonna be some limited amount of skills, maybe 8 skills and 3 life bars. So not incredibly crazy systems, but sort of crazy systems. How does this guy have more than 30 health? What did he do? I should pay attention to the game I'm playing, I suppose, if I want to know those answers. Your Gamer has an article called Retrobit's Sega Deal has us fantasizing about a Dreamcast Mini. Which Retrobit, a big name in retro cloning hardware, has signed a deal with Sega to make accessories for the Mega Drive, Saturn, and Dreamcast consoles. Which doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? What in the world happened? How did he... What spell is this? Transform all minions into 1/1 sheep. Draw 3 cards. That didn't work well either. This guy is wrecking me. And I'm not even paying attention. So the thing about doing a Dreamcast Mini is it probably sells about as well as the Dreamcast did, relatively speaking. While the Dreamcast did have some people who almost via Stockholm Syndrome loved it, it doesn't have that wide and very varied selection of games on it. So you're talking Phantasy Star, like the Sonic game that was on it, Crazy Taxi. There was some other crazy things on there, but I don't think you can do much more than 5 or 6 games. And the games for the Dreamcast were CDs, so you're talking a large amount of space that you'd have to put onto some kind of ROM or RAM chip that would actually be more expensive, I would guess, than doing a Super NES Mini, because those games were rather small, less than 5 megabytes or so for most games, even for the Super NES. If anything, what I would say is they should do a Master System, Sega Genesis, and put on a mini version of that Dreamcast games and Sega, the Sega Genesis, the Master System, the 3DX, all of their consoles that they created in just one, and then you could get a decent collection of games. Honestly, even the Nintendo NES Mini and the Super NES Mini are pathetically small amounts of games, considering the fact that most people are probably only going to play with it for a little bit, like an hour or two. There's going to be a lot of people that get NES Minis and Super NES Minis, probably Super NES Minis this Christmas. They're going to go, oh, that's cool. They're going to plug it in, they're going to play it, and then they're going to be done with it within a month and never play it again. Almost certain that that's how it's going down. This is pathetic. How many times have they played this character? Let's see. Well, let's kill it and get it off the field. Well, that was the wrong way to kill it.
Justice is mine.
Here's a list in the comments of games from the Dreamcast. Crazy Taxi, Power Stone, Soul Calibur, Jet Set Radio, Choo Choo Rocket, Virtual Tennis, Project Justice, Skies of Arcadia, F355 Challenge, Phantasy Star Online, Sombra de Amigo, Grandia 2, MSR, and Bangai-O. And half of those games I haven't even heard of. Res HD on the Dreamcast. I'd prefer just PC versions of almost all of these games. Crazy Taxi 1 and 2 would need its music licenses renewed, or the music would have to be changed, which is probably a problem for a lot of these games. Sega Bass Fishing is getting listed as something. Like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Yeah, even in the comments, they can't get 20 games listed worth having on there. So, yeah, Sega would do much better to have an entire Genesis collection, including the Dreamcast. Just Sega, all the Sega games on one console, and then maybe even, if you want to get crazy about it, have different consoles that look differently. So you could get the Dreamcast hardware case, but it had the exact same collection of all the Sega games, or you could get the Master System hardware case and it could look like all the other systems. I'm sure there's plenty of people that would love to have the Super NES games in the NES Minis case. Personally, I would much prefer the NES Minis case over the Super NES Minis case. Let's see, there's a game called The Council, which is a narrative adventure about an 18th century secret society and your mom, apparently, according to PC Gamer. I'm not sure if this is a joke or if this is actually true. Maybe it's the idea is that your mother was in the council. Let's see. It's a secret society whose members include Napoleon Bonaparte, George Washington, and you, Louis de Reich, holders. Holds a meeting on a private island off the shores of England. It's not a friendly meet and greet. The whole thing is highly competitive, and each member jockeys for a position over the others. Complicating matters further, your mom was recently on the island, has since gone missing. So it really does involve your mother, the character's mother in the game. Let's watch this trailer. This is from Focus Home Interactive. The animation looks good, but this might just be a cutscene. The animation style looks interesting. It's slightly a little rough. There's something on how they animate the faces so that they're more elongated faces in 3D animation. But all of it looks good. It looks really polished. Some really old people animated well. Secret passages. So I assume this is just a one-time playthrough style game. The first episode of the cancel called The Mad Ones is out February, and we hope it's really good. Oh, it's episodic. That sucks. But I am interested. It does look like an interesting game. And it's interesting, I suppose, that the game would be announced this far at the end of the year. Well, that really failed to play any Shaman cards or get me any victories with the Paladin and Warrior. So we need to refocus there and try to get some victories. That's going to be it for this recording. Stay tuned if you're watching live. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.